Tonight, the capture of Vance Boelter is the culmination of what's being called the largest manhunt in Minnesota history. Federal, state, and local authorities were coming together for that 43-hour search that finally led to Boelter's capture in a farm field outside Green Isle in Sibley County. But it was the intuitive thinking of one police officer from a small department north of Minneapolis who's being credited with actually stopping Boelter's alleged violent rampage. An officer with the Brooklyn Park Police Department. His quick thinking led to a confrontation with the suspected shooter, and it may have stopped him from killing more people that night. For more on that incredible police work and on the case in general, we're joined now by Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara. Chief, thanks so much. I'm going to get to that story with that police officer in a second. But first of all, this suspect, Boelter, quote, stalked his victims like prey and shot them in cold blood, according to authorities. They were surveilled. He took notes on them. Do we have any indication how long he was surveilling them?
Well, this obviously this did go on for some time. We learned today through information that was released in the federal complaint that while he did not have a manifesto of sorts like you'd see in other premeditated killings, he did have several notebooks, some of which was recovered in the vehicle outside the residence in Brooklyn Park when officers got into a shooting with him. But then other writings were recovered when a search warrant was executed both at his home in Minneapolis later that morning. And so there's, as you mentioned earlier, there's just dozens of names, as well as obviously evidence that he did research on where these people lived, and that he stalked some of these people beforehand. So obviously it did go on for some time.
Prosecutors called it a political assassination, and that it was supposed to be a bigger killing spree, all aimed at these Democratic politicians. We learned this afternoon he visited the homes of two other lawmakers that night. At one home is at one home that nobody was home. What happened at the other home, the fourth home?
So the second place he went to in Maple Grove, he was ringing the doorbell, but the legislator wasn't home. After that, he went to New Hope, and a New Hope police officer was dispatched to check on the welfare of that legislator as well. So as he was down the block, the New Hope officer made contact with the legislator and he fled the scene. So he was disrupted from both that attack and then later in the final attack in Brooklyn Park, the officers arrived as he began to open fire.
And this is the story we want to talk about, because it was one officer who had this gut instinct after hearing about the first lawmaker who was shot and wounded, and his wife was shot and wounded. He said, let's go check on Ms. Boelter, and what happened?
Yeah, so the officers arrived just as he was outside, and he immediately opened fire. And obviously that is what ultimately led to him being separated from that vehicle. Those photos that you were showing earlier, all those different weapons in there, and just an extremely large volume of ammunition as well as the book with the locations of all these other elected officials, including others who were not elected, some folks from abortion rights groups as well.
But the two officers pulled up to Melissa Butler's home, and they saw the gunman on the doorstep. And he turned around and made eye contact with the officers, and then turned back toward the front door, and that's when gunshots rang out?
It appears that from what's been released publicly that, yes, he immediately opened fire and then entered the residence.
And killed the lawmaker and her husband, and was able to flee out the back door. But the point is, at that point, he didn't have his car, he didn't have all the weapons in his car, and he was on the run. And you may have stopped him just by that police chief in that suburb sending those two officers to check on this lawmaker. You may have stopped him from killing more people that night.
There's absolutely no question that the work of those officers did stop what could have been a far worse night. No question about it.
Police Chief Brian O'Hara, it's really incredible work on the behalf of all the law enforcement in the state of Minnesota apprehending this man. He was dangerous and needed to be caught. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.